Hi, so as we go ahead, just reminding you once again that all the source code for this course is available on github.com/codingblocksarchive slash Android Basics Crash Course, and every section and chapter wise source code is available for this right here. Okay, and this is the URL if you want to go and visit and download the source code to check out what we are covering here. Okay. Okay, so we will pick up from where we left in the last video, that is understanding how to deal with more complex items in a list. So we have seen like this kind of an app where the items inside a list are, just one string, okay, just the name of the course. But what if we had more complex courses, right? So for example, if instead of just the name of the course like this, I wanted a more complex course structure, which is the name of the course, the teacher who would be teaching that, the number of sessions that it has, and the price of that course. If you have this much information in order to show it in a more complex UI, so how do we go ahead doing that, right? So let's just create the stuff that we need to show that data first. So we would need a course class. So I'll just go and create a new Kotlin class called course. Okay, and here I would add so I'll make it a data class. Now it's a very interesting thing in Kotlin if you haven't used before. A data class is basically a class which contains only data, right? uh, in Java, we often create classes just to encapsulate data. If you're coming from C or C++ world, you know that there are structures and there are classes. So structures are just to encapsulate some data. Classes give you all the benefit of inheritance, encapsulation, etc., etc., etc. So data classes kind of do a similar thing in Kotlin. They help you create classes which only contain bunch of data together. So well, name, so I will do like a string, okay, and then I'll do teacher, which also is a string, then well, classes, or let's just say lectures, which would be an int, and well, let's just say price, yeah, fees, which is also going to be an int. Okay, so right, and let's just say we want to create like another in this courses, let me go and create a list of instead of in this format, I'll create a list of course like this, and to do that we'll just create a course, and let's just say it's an Android course which is taught by me. Okay, and it has got 20 lectures, and the fees for that is let's say 14.99, right? It's just say we do a bunch of these. Okay, so by the way, if you're using Kotlin version 1.4 and above, then there's a new feature in Kotlin which allows you to have a comma at the end of the last argument as well in a function, which is quite nice, which makes all of these, say, 4 lines consistent with each other. Otherwise, earlier you had to omit this comma. Just a quick fact. Okay, so let's say I teach a Node.js course as well, which has 25 lectures, and that costs say 16,999. And let's just say there is a recursion course taught by say Rishabh, which has 10 lectures and costs 9,999. Let's say there is a dynamic programming course taught by Prateek, which has maybe 15 lectures and it costs 12,999, right? And let's just say another course, Java Basics taught by say Garima ma'am, has 10 lectures and cost 6,999. Okay, so our courses are now more complex objects as such. Okay, and this kind of an adapter does not suit us anymore. Okay, so what we can do is we can create a different kind of an adapter, which is we can create Android base adapter we can extend. Okay, like this, and we have to pass like a bunch of methods here. um, so we have to pass get count. Get count would basically be the size of the courses. So that's the how many items this adapter is going to be creating. Okay, get item is something which is would be returning a course, and we would basically return here equal to course of this position. Okay, so how to get one item. Get item ID is something we can let it be the ID of that course or something like that. So uh, yeah, I think we can do is just be equal to get item, which gives us a course dot I think the hash code of it should be fine. Okay, that give the item ID. And finally we have got so get view. Now this is the important part. This is where we actually have to create the item. Okay, so to do that, what we need to do is we have to go and create the layout for this. So we go to res layout, and we would actually create a new layout, and let's just call this as list item course. Let's make it a linear layout. Okay, and so there we go, list item course has been created here. It's a linear layout. So I want to design it in a way which is the width is going to be match parent, height is going to be wrap content, and it will contain text views. Width would be match parent, height would be wrap content again, and let's just say we have got 3 text views. Okay, this one let's just write some text here. The second one contains the text. Just say okay, and the third one contains this text, lectures 3 fees, something like this. Okay, so let's give this some style. We can give it a text appearance of headline. I'm gonna make it big like this. We can give this a text appearance of subheading. Okay, and we can give this a text appearance of body. Okay, or subtitle like this. I think body was fine. Body 2. Yeah, so yeah, let's give this some padding of let's say 10 dp. So that's how one list item in the list is going to look like. Okay, one list item. Okay, um, we have to give these IDs as well. These IDs are very important. So I have to give them IDs like this. TV course name. We'll call this one as TV teacher name. and we will give this as TV course details. Okay, so somewhat something like this. Now what we'll do is, here in the get view function, we are gonna create a view. How we'll do that? So we'll do layout inflator dot inflate, and we will inflate r dot layout dot list item course. That's how we create a view, how we can inflate our list. So inflate is basically taking an XML file and creating a view out of it. Okay, that's what the inflate function does. So we're going to take this XML file and we're going to create a view out of it, which we want to put on the screen somewhere. So we'll put it on the screen. There are two more parameters here. So root view is going to be this parent, and attached to root will pass false. Okay, so it's an interesting thing why we are using attached to root false and parent. So I will tell you why shortly. Okay, so I'll do this val item view equal to this, and I will return the item view, but not before I do item view dot find view by ID. Or you can also do item view dot TV course details, TV course name dot text equal to get item position. So let's just do val course equal to get item of this position. So we'll do course dot name. Okay, item view dot TV teacher name equal to course dot teacher, and item view dot TV course details equal to so we'll write like this, lectures, and here we will write course dot lectures, and then fees INR course dot fees. Okay, so that's how we'll put it. There's some underlines and highlights because of some warnings which we should fix. We'll get to that. I'll just show those. So we do the get view. So when we use a base adapter, we have to implement these four functions. Get count is supposed to return the size of the list. Get item is supposed to return one item of the list based on the position. Get item ID is supposed to return a unique ID for each item, so that it's easier for Android to know which item is to be placed. It's basically, to identify which item is to be put in which position in the list. It should return a unique ID. So if you're fetching items from a database, maybe they have some IDs. If you're fetching items from the internet, from an API, they might have some IDs. Here I'm just using the hash code, which is fine, which should also be unique, or I think there it should be a serial as well. You can do that, right? You can create an ID, or you can create an ID field in the course, and you can pass some IDs inside them. Okay, and I'm gonna set these and return the item view. So that's my base adapter here, which is a different kind of an adapter that we have clicked here. Okay, so let's just run this and see what comes up on the screen. Hopefully this runs without crashing, and if it does. So as you can see, now we are dealing with a different kind of a list, which is starting to slowly get towards Twitter or Facebook kind of feeds, where each item in the list is not just one text or something. It's more complex. It has a title, it has maybe a photo inside it, it has likes and dislikes and all of that stuff. So there we go. As you can see, this list now contains like Android, Arnav lecture 20s, Node.js, Arnav recursion and all. And I think I can add a few more of these, of course, right? So let's say C++ basics by Pranav, and let's just say we had a Kotlin course by Pulkit, and let's say we add a JavaScript course by Sanjeet, right? I know, would this make it enough to scroll? Right, yeah, so it's a list like that. Okay, so that's how you can work with more complex lists. Although this is not how we work with complex lists because of some performance reasons. As a result, we prefer to use something called recycler views. So we would see that in the next video. We don't use base adapter and lists anymore. This is the most fundamental way of creating a list, and you can really quickly create a list like this. But these days, what we prefer to do is we use recycler views. So we'll see how recycler views are used. Although recycler views are not part of the default Android OS, it's a library. Google themselves have made it. The Android team has made a library, but it's a separate library. So you have to add a library and use recycler view, which is meant to make more efficient lists for you. Okay, now to answer a few questions, why did I write attached to root false here, and what's the significance of that variable? The significance of that variable is that as you can see right now on my screen, this same layout has been added, multiple times, and every time this layout has a text view with a particular ID and another text view with a particular ID. So right now on my screen here, this item, Android written here and Node.js written here, both have the ID TV course name, right? Because it's the same layout I'm putting on my screen again and again. Now, ideally in a single view hierarchy, you're not supposed to put two items with the same ID into it, okay? So we write attached to root false, which means that these items in my list that are getting added into my screen, they are not getting added to the root of the view hierarchy. Okay, if we do that, if we write true here, okay, and if we run this, okay, we would see that the app crashes. Okay, and we would also see why it crashes. Okay, so it would have had crashed, and it would have crashed uh, so add view is not supported in adapter view, something like that happens. It essentially happens because we are trying to add two items with the same ID into the list. So your attached to root should be false here. Okay, so you pass the layout, the parent, which is used to calculate the match parent kind of things, right? Because here we have written that the width is supposed to be match parent. So which parent would it match? It would match this parent that we have passed here. Okay, so when you're creating the view, okay, and attached to root is false. We set the text and the details of the course, and we can show a list of courses on our screen like this. Okay,